Hello, Blizzard fans! This is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another Daily Blizzard upload. This is a game between Hydra and sOs on Expedition Lost LE. Now this is from Gfinity Spring Masters II tournament that just wrapped up a couple of weeks ago. And this is the quarterfinal series between these two players, and this is game 2 from their series. And I had a request that I show the players' names the entire game, so there you go. This is the pink Protoss player sOs, pink or red, it's red here, and in the bottom left we have the blue Zerg player Hydra, as evidenced by the blue Zerg icon next to the name Hydra. Now PvZ is my favorite matchup. I think PvZ is the majority of the games that I have casted. I hope you enjoy them as much as I do. If not, just let me know in the comments and I'll see if I can mix it up a little bit. But the last two games I cast had a Terran in them, so I figured I'd go back to PvZ at this point. And now we're going to speed it up through the early game, just to make it a little bit more interesting. In Legacy of the Void, there have been a lot of requests to the Blizzard developers to make the early game a little bit faster. And so in Legacy of the Void, you start out with more Harvesters, which is Blizzard's way of trying to accomplish that. From the feedback that I have seen, a lot of players are not too happy with it. They don't feel like it does enough. Kind of affects the games in different ways. I'm going to see if I can actually manage to cast Legacy of the Void replays, even though I don't have Legacy of the Void beta. And I'll see if I can figure that out. And if I can, then I'll be casting Legacy of the Void along with Heart of the Swarm, just because a lot of the pro players are still doing tournaments in Heart of the Swarm, because Legacy of the Void won't be coming out for another few months at the very, very least. So here we have Hydra opening up with the standard spawning pool into hatchery. It looks like he might have actually been trying to take the gold here, but the probe was able to deny that very, very well. Good awareness by sOs, recognizing this is a threat from Zerg players. So we had a probe there, and we are sending out a zealot to try to do some harassment. So we did the gateway first. No Nexus yet here at the 4-minute mark. A little bit interesting from our Protoss player. sOs, though, knows what he's doing. He's one of the better Protoss players on the entire planet. So if he says, I'm going to go Gateway, Cybercore, into Nexus, I'm not going to question him. Overlord scouts in, sees the exact timing on that Nexus, and gets out of the way before any stalkers can kill him. This Zergling trying desperately to run away from that stalker as well. Speed not even on the way for Hydra. It looks like he feels confident he can defend with Queens and Slowlings at this point, although with that Gateway first, we could put a little bit more pressure on. sOs could. And what's he making over here? It is a robotics facility. So we could see Immortals, we could see an Observer out of that. We could go straight into Colossus with Robo Bay. We'll have to see what the answer is going to be. We do have actually 4 Lings now moving along here. No more in production, just drones. A third base now going down, not at the gold. Hydra feeling like he's going to take the third here at this base instead. He is basically going to have 3 bases at about the same time sOs gets a second. As these Zerglings get right on inside, I don't think... Oh, good block. Almost a good block off there by the Stalker. But unfortunately, the Zerglings get right on in. They're trying to get a surround on this Stalker. The Mothership Core pops out to help keep that Stalker alive. And yes, pretty much the Zerglings at this point just want to scout, see exactly what's going on, and then try to stay alive as long as possible. But as they don't have speed, that's not going to happen. But Hydra was able to scout out that the Robo Facility is in use here. I don't know if you can tell what's coming out of there if you zoom in like you can with the Stargate. We talked about that a couple of games ago. But it is going to be a Warp Prism. So we're going to see some Warp Prism harassment. Likely going to warp in some Zealots in a mineral line somewhere while supplying pressure at the front, or rather applying pressure at the front. Hydra needs to be ready for this. I mean, it looks like, if we look at the units tab real quick, he has 38 drones, 2 queens, and that is it. He has no attacking units whatsoever. Mothership Core coming to attack right now. Warp Prism on its way down as well. Warp Prism with 1 probe in it. Okay, we'll have to see what this guy's up to. Let's get a little follow action now on this guy, and he drops him there to try to deny that base. The Queen trying to take down that Mothership Core. 2 Queens now going to town on the core. Does force it to retreat. Warp Prism coming in to scare Hydra because he knows a lot of Gateway units could pop out of that at any second. Although, to be honest, sOs really only has 3 Gateways at this point, so I mean, 3 Zealots, not too much of a hassle for the Zerg player to deal with, but this forward pylon could be a little bit dangerous. We are trying to actually get some pressure on as well from Hydra, pumping out a lot of Lings here. A lot of Lings came out when that Warp Prism showed up. Probably worried about some harassment. A lot of Zealots coming down, and there are some Zealots. They are protecting this forward pylon with their lives. Here comes some Speedlings. A lot of Speedlings, though. They immediately are going to go for this probe. They take it down. But they can't take this many zealots as well as the mothership core and kill that pylon. So they escape. They're going to see if they can put on some pressure to the front door. Here come 2 immortals, a bunch of zealots, and a stalker. This is going to be a very impressive timing attack from SOS. Is Hydra going to be ready? His wall off is ready, that's for sure. SOS trying to throw down additional pylons to make the wall even stronger at this point, but he says, okay, I'm not going to come back and defend against these Zerglings. What I actually need to do is just hit the front as fast as I can. Hopefully there won't be enough. There are roaches, though. Roaches are going to be pretty good against this composition, with the exception of these 2 immortals. We'll have to see if it's enough. The Queen's doing damage, ranged as well, trying to snipe down these zealots first so that they can actually get in there and do some attacking on those immortals, and actually pulling a lot of drones off here as well. Another zealot is about to go down, and yes, he does evaporate. More and more zealots getting warped in, though, by the warp prisms. But again, roaches do pretty darn well against zealots as long as they're being microed correctly. I don't see a lot of stutter stepping, though. More and more lings coming in. The lings from the back focusing down on these immortals. Excellent choice there. All that's left are these immortals and 2 zealots. I think these lings and these roaches and these queens should be able to clean this up quite nicely. The zealots die immediately, but the warp prism has mischief on his mind and comes over here to drop the immortals and also warp and zealots right at the top of Hydra's ramp. More and actually sentries to to force field off the main. Such an annoying move for Zerg players is when that main gets force fielded off. You have reinforcements being made at your second and your third. You can't get up that ramp, though, because you can't destroy force fields until you have Ultralisks. So very annoying. The Queen dropping creep tumors now. That was a pretty good hold there from Hydra. He had to pull workers off the line there, but he's up 82 to 49 supply. He has 41 to 31 total harvesters over the Protoss player. SOS trying to make something happen with this single immortal and this warp prism, but everywhere that he goes, Hydra is ready with the queens, with the lings. There's really nowhere to drop and be safe at all. So it's basically a 2-base all-in that SOS was going for. He wasn't able to kill many workers. I guess if we look at the units lost tab, we can check that out. It was, okay, 3 drones killed, which is not enough to pay for that attack. I feel like Hydra is in such a good spot now here at the 11-minute mark, and yeah, he's moving up with a ton of lings, a few roaches. He's going to try to put pressure up here on the front door. He knows that SOS needs to be making workers to try to catch up, but a little bit of more warp prism micro there from SOS, dropping the immortal and then picking it back up. I have seen some pretty amazing warp prism micro there with the immortal in the past, where if you actually drop the immortal, it can shoot immediately at the roaches, but the roach attack actually takes a second to get from the roach to the immortal. So if you lift it up before the attack hits, the immortal takes no damage whatsoever. It's really hard to do. I think I've really only ever seen, like, MC do that before. It's really frustrating for Zerg players to deal with, but it's really hard to do as well. So if you can do it as a Protoss player, more power to you. More and more zealots and immortals and sentries here at this front Zelnaga watchtower, and a flank attack coming in from these lings, trying to kill all of these guys, but no, they get picked up by the warp prism, and they are safe because lings cannot shoot up, as we all know. Going to try to get in. Oh man, look at this Zergling counterattack getting right into the natural of SOS. A zealot warps in, lasts about 2 seconds, but all the lings are here, killing all the production facilities for the Protoss player. The attack is there, but SOS calls the GG. He recognizes he cannot stop the carnage at home. He might have a big army here, but it's not enough to do the damage he needs to win the game, and Hydra actually does manage to win game 2 of these quarterfinals. So pretty exciting action-packed match there. I was very happy to cast it. If you liked what you heard today, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. You can also catch me on Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter, all at /FalconPaladin. And until next time, as always, you take care of yourself.